Greetings from the dank basement. I'm Paul Schallbetter, your personal snuff guru, with another nasal snuff review. Yesterday, I uploaded a Yabo video. That stands for Yet Another Box Opening. I wanted to thank my friend Clay in Kansas for sending me some samples and a fresh pack of Cuban cigarillos called Chivas. And I posted the Yabo video, and thankfully, Clay saw it and wrote, "You didn't find the Madras from 6 Photo?" I said, "No." Well, it turns out that I had accidentally dumped it with the packing peanuts into my garbage, and I had to root through the garbage, but I did find it, thank God. Otherwise, I would have missed this, and you would have never gotten this review. This is the 6 Photo MG Madras, a very strong Indian Madras snuff. What is a Madras snuff? Well, Madras is an Indian style of snuff, and one of the things that differentiates it from other Indian styles is that they sauce the tobacco with a tea made from some of the tobacco that they're turning into snuff. In other words, they brew a small percentage of the tobacco as a tea, then they combine the tea with the tobacco, they cure it a second time, then it is pulverized or milled, it is sieved and packaged. The result is a much higher nicotine product that's a lot richer in tobacco flavor. Now in the tub, this smells like it has a little bit of a floral edge to it or something soapy. That does not get detected when you sniff it, okay? It's just a little bit in the tub. There's also a tiny bit of ammonia, but that means that the snuff is fresh. It was recently packaged. So let's try this, and I will give you my impressions. Cheers. Okay, I have to warn you, it is somewhere between a medium and fine grind, closer to fine. And even though the moisture level is quite good in this, this is not an easy sniff. I would rate the difficulty of sniffing on this as moderate to difficult. It is not quite as tough to take as a white elephant or a Delakia white or any of the other very finely milled snuffs. It's not as hard as many toasts to sniff, but it is a challenging sniff if you're not ready for it. So be careful so you don't choke on it. Now, fortunately, I have done this review now 8 times, but I keep screwing up. So my nose has plenty of mucus, and I'm accustomed to this snuff. So it's easier for me to take, although I will confess I did choke on it in a couple of earlier takes. So be careful. Now, it does sting a little bit on your first sniff of this. The subsequent sniffs, it doesn't sting at all. It doesn't burn. But the first one, it burns so good. You can really tell there's something going on with this snuff the first pinch. Now, I just took a very small apple seed sized pinch so I could give you a better idea of the aroma and the nicotine. But frankly, since this is the 8th time I've tried to do this review in the last 45 minutes, I got a lot of nicotine in my system, guys. Oof. On the nicotine scale, where 1 is nada and 10 is way too much, even with my high nicotine tolerance, this is a 7 to 8 on that scale. If you are nicotine naive, please use some caution with this. I wouldn't want you to hurt yourself. If you're a real Nick hound, you probably won't be bothered by this at all. In fact, I find it very satisfying and very refreshing. I like this. Although I'd better go check my blood pressure when I'm done with this review. In the nose, you get something that starts out a little bit like an American Scotch. There's a rich tobacco with just a little bit of smoke. But as it stays in the nostril for a while, you start to get some sweetness and almost the scent of clarified butter or ghee. Now, I know that they don't actually put ghee into this tobacco. It would ruin the shelf stability of this. It would not have a good shelf life. But I think just the natural scent of the tobacco provides almost a buttery scent that's really, really pleasant. So how does it rate on my quality scale, the famous Squinty Scale? Well, on the scale where 1 is disgusting and 5 is delicious, this is a 5. This is one of the best examples of the Madras genre I've ever had. I love this. I will buy this again. I will buy this in a much larger container. Again, you have to be careful when you sniff it because it is a little bit more difficult to sniff than other snuffs you might be accustomed to. And the nicotine is right off the chain on this. This would be actually a really good replacer for other forms of nicotine, particularly cigarettes. So if you're trying to quit, this is a good snuff to choose to replace the nicotine you would get from a strong cigarette, such as a Marlboro Red. I will tell you this, if you're going to try to quit smoking cigarettes using nasal snuff, you got to put down the cigarettes first. Just put them in a drawer, leave them alone, don't go back to them, don't smoke, and just use nasal snuff. Because otherwise you really won't perceive the nicotine and it won't be nearly as satisfying to you as smoking. Now there are pharmacokinetic reasons for that. The route of delivery to the receptors in your brain for nicotine is much faster when you smoke something than when you sniff it. It's even faster through the mucous membranes in your mouth when you smoke a pipe, smoke a cigar, use Swedish snus, or, God help you, use dip or chewing tobacco. So it's a slower form of uptake of nicotine, almost as slow as the transdermal patches. So you got to really leave the other forms of tobacco alone. But if you would just use this one, this MG Madras from 6 Photo, or another strong nicotine snuff, you're going to have success in quitting cigarettes. If you want to quit, just leave the smokes alone and just use the snuff. That's my 2 cents worth. From the Dank Basement, again, thank you, Clay in Kansas, for the sample. I really appreciate it. This is a really, really delicious snuff, and I'm very glad to have it in my snuff arsenal. From the Dank Basement, Paul Schellbetter wishing you a Happy New Year and reminding you, if you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe. If you are subscribed, please hit the notification bell icon to be notified of my new videos. As always, pressing the like button not only strokes my ego, but it also helps the YouTube algorithm recommend this video to people who are not subscribed to my channel, but who search YouTube for reviews of nasal snuff. Finally, and most importantly, I love reading your comments, even the snarky ones. I got a real snarky comment a couple of days ago from Vanguard Standard. Now, one of the only people that I know in this world that would use that kind of screen name for himself would be my little brother, and it would be just like him to give himself the name Vanguard Standard just so he could make a snarky comment about my appearance. So Tim, if you're listening, you're busted. I know Vanguard Standard is you, you putz. Happy New Year, everybody.